It's hard to believe that a year and a half ago, I was in Iraq, in an area called the Triangle of Death, or in Arabic, the Mudalat al-Mut. Sounds more death-like in Arabic. See, knowing some of the language and what's going on certainly helped out. And so, although I was just an infantry officer, I had a degree in Arabic from West Point, and sometimes it certainly helped in Iraq. You know, we realized that our job was really very simple. We went to war, we patrolled around, we found the terrorists, we killed them, and very simple. So, sometimes I did feel a little bit useful in the Mutalat al-Mut. A soldier's ability to follow orders is something many people try to emulate. However, sometimes, many of these orders put their integrity on the line, such as don't ask, don't tell, or fighting an unjustified war. The following selection urges you to disobey any order that puts your integrity on the line. As Harper Lee wrote in To Kill a Mockingbird, real courage means knowing you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and see it through to the end. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. Don't Tell Martha by Dan Choi. But I came back from Iraq and I was 27 years old, and I'd seen people in my family and my friends and people I haven't seen in a while. Some of them, and I kind of felt like something was missing in my heart. See, at 27 years old, I still didn't have the experience of love. I never had a girlfriend until I met, in New York City, a wonderful girl by the name of Martha. I couldn't stop talking about Martha. I mean, Martha this and Martha that. I would go into work and, Lieutenant, you're so happy all the time, something's wrong with you. But I couldn't stop talking about my girlfriend. And I had all these questions, because I never had a love relationship. And I said, what does it mean when your girlfriend buys you roses? I mean, red roses or white roses, and what's this teddy bear that she got me for my birthday? I mean, it wasn't just any teddy bear, infantryman says. It's a bright red teddy bear with hearts all over it. I mean, how am I supposed to explain this to any of them? I needed them to explain this to me. See, because this love thing was a whole different battlefield. Something I did not have a manual for. And they all wanted to meet this Martha. You talk about it so much all the time. We have to meet her. And my sister, she said, you keep saying she's hot. I want to know, is she really hot? I want to meet her. Is she really that hot? And there was a big problem. See, this woman, Martha, actually didn't exist. I didn't have a girlfriend named Martha. I had a boyfriend. His name is Matthew. And under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I couldn't talk about my love. I had to lie about my love. And I mean, it was okay. For a decade, I lived in the closet. I was okay with it. I mean, my dad is a Southern Baptist minister. And my mom is a baby nurse at a hospital. Translated, she wants a lot of grandchildren. She wants a lot of Korean grandchildren. So for me, I was comfortable. I was okay. I was hiding. It was okay until I fell in love. Because I didn't want to lie about my love anymore. Because finally, I knew what the movies were talking about. I knew what the poems and the songs and the romance, I knew what that was all about. Why did I want to lie about that? And I started telling. I told my parents. I told my friends. I joined the gay men's chorus. I would look, and in the rehearsal, I would be reading this music, and I would look up, and it seemed like any other straight chorus. Except, oh my God, all these 200 people are very gay. you're all really, really gay. But this was my new unit, and we didn't have to lie about ourselves or who we loved, so I continued to tell. And I met another group of people that I probably should have met a long time ago. Other combat veterans who were also gay. And I met a group of West Point graduates, just like me, who are gay. And we got together and we talked about our love stories. I mean, why should we lie about something so important to us? We learned at West Point, the very first day, the honor code. So simple. You must not lie. You won't tolerate those who lie. But you have this don't ask, don't tell code that says, your boyfriend does not exist. Don't talk about it. You must lie. We looked at it and said, well, actually, when I started telling, when I told my mom or my dad or say Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper, that was illegal. That was a violation. And people said, you broke the law. Yeah, but I struck true to the West Point honor code. And you know what? Before we learned at West Point that very day, a decade ago, before we learned how to salute, before we learned how to stand at attention, before we learned how to march in step, and before we learned how to execute orders to the best of our ability, and when we didn't, we got push-ups, and before we got a single push-up, we learned the honor code. You must not lie. It's that simple. So, we continued to tell. We told on radio. We told on TV. Now, my parents didn't have a problem with it until I talked to the Korean Christian conservative radios. And they swore that the gay agenda was just getting me to be a part of this. I think Pat Robertson himself might have called them up and said, you know he's not gay. But he's just doing all this to piss you off. Well, my dad called me, and he said, we know you're not gay! This is just a phase! This is a big shame! This is a sin, number one sin! Wait a minute, Dad. I sat through your sermons. I went to your church. I remember you preached the biggest sin is not to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and that the greatest commandment was to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And I remembered other commandments, like honor your father and mother. And I want to honor you because you can talk about saving face and not having any honor, but I'm telling the truth, and any relationship based off of love can't have any deception. What face do you save when you have no integrity? And I kept telling. The army eventually caught up to me. They sent me a little present in the mail. This is to inform you that because of your homosexual admission, we consider that moral and professional dereliction. Moral dereliction for refusing to lie. Professional dereliction for telling the truth. Well, the letter gave me some choices. You can resign and you'll probably get your honorable discharge and you'll get all your benefits. And being 50% disabled, I kind of needed some of those benefits. But I learned a lesson at West Point. The very first day, if you were a soldier and there's a fight to be fought, you stand up. And so we started collecting these letters. About 300,000 of them came in. And some of these letters were fiercer than the ones I got from the army, let me tell you. I do not care who this man sleeps with. He is willing to die for his country and freedom. He has an exceptional record and is well-spoken and respected in his regime. No one should care who anyone sleeps with. As long as everyone consents and is an adult, let him serve. I am proud to call this man an American. And one of the messages that I got that I'll remember forever was from one of the doctors in Iraq. We rebuilt his hospital.